Taurus, what's up? Welcome back. I don't think that you and this person are exactly speaking right now. Whoever this is in this connection has been splintered because there has been a level of deceit on the part of the person that you were dealing with. It feels like you took a chance on someone, maybe really pushed yourself to try something new, and it feels like right now you're probably working through, I wish I would have listened to my intuition, but I'm glad that I took the journey. That is what the theme is of this particular reading, Taurus. So if that is you, stay on and we'll get all of the messages out here. If that's not something you're working through, my love cup, I don't want to waste your time at all. Maybe I'll see you next week. And thank you for popping in and saying, hey, okay? I don't want to put any nonsense in your mind. If you know that you are in a happy, loving, harmonious connection, this is not your reading, okay? So for those of you who are staying on, if you are familiar with how I do the love readings, I have a placement for the connection. I do believe that when we come together with someone, it's self, the other person, those two energies, and then they come together and they create something based off of how much they let go and they invest in that energy. So it takes its own identity, takes on its own identity. So I have a placement out here for that. I have some cards out here for you, Taurus, and then I have some cards out here for the person that you are dealing with, okay? So the first card that popped out in the oracle message is holiday, and it says enjoy a change of scenery to spice up your love life. Now this card has multiple I was going to say images, right? That's how it pops into my mind sometimes, but there are different messages related to that particular card because I'm speaking to some people who are done and you know that you're single, and then I'm talking to some people that might reconnect with this person. And so for those of you where you are single, this feels like Spirit wants you to know not to allow what has recently happened in love to rob you of your trust about what love could be later. So this holiday means, I know in the States we have, Independence Day coming up, there are different holidays and birthdays and anniversaries and things where people are coming together in these summer months, right? The solstice months. So it feels like Spirit wants you to know that you get to still have your joy. You can still meet other people. Another thing that was coming through too is that there might be something related to a holiday as it makes sense for you and this other person's connection, because that's a very specific card, okay? Open your heart was the second card that popped out here, and it says love is the highest energy of all, let it in. And what this feels like, again, as I briefly just described, for those of you who are single, you're recovering, you're healing, you are making sense of some things. And when it's time, Spirit wants you to know that it's okay to take the lesson, not the pain, because obviously life is going to go on. And then another vibe that's coming through is that for some of you, you actually did open your heart. It feels like you kind of took a risk in some way, because another message out here that's coming through is fearless love. And so with this fearless love card, it says a courageous leap into the unknown. And so this is a very powerful energy right now, because again, as I said earlier, I do feel like there's this vibe of someone here who took a leap of faith in this connection to make something happen. And it turned out to be that this person likely was not the healthy kind of connection that you thought it might be, okay? There's definitely a vibe of kind of like some third party stuff here. So I'll get the cards out here to describe that a little bit more in just a moment. So more cards for the connection. We have the Lovers here. So there's something about this connection that felt very spiritual, or it feels very spiritual as it relates to this connection, okay? It feels very, very spiritual. And by making the choice to be in this connection with that Lovers kind of Gemini card is the Six of Wands. So this feels like feeling like you made a good choice, feeling beautiful in the connection, feeling inspired in the connection. It's just a beautiful energy. And then the Knight of Wands out here. So this is that kind of fast moving, sensual, passionate energy that can really be the energy that is used to sweep somebody off of their feet in a connection. And then I confirmed that energy and got a reversal of the Queen of Cups, or excuse me, Pentacles. And so this feels like you in some way, where in this connection, because it probably moves so fast, or you really want to try something different, you didn't want, maybe there were friends who were like, yo, just go ahead and try it, it's not that big of a deal. You went ahead and went for it, but you were kind of upside down in this energy. And I know that this is really a Capricorn card, but you are my earth sign that I'm reading to. And so in this connection, it kind of feels like you weren't exactly right side up in it. You were just really trying to do something a little bit different. And then we have the Page of Swords here, and then we have the Queen of Wands here. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting for me. The Page of Swords is communication, naive communication, sometimes sloppy communication. And then the Queen of Wands next to the Queen of Pentacles is where I'm starting to feel that there's kind of a third party energy. Now it could be that this person is dealing with someone, but it also could be a mom, a sister, a female best friend, or a male best friend that has a lot of stake and investment in the connection and tend to get in the way. So I want to let you know that that's another thing that I could be speaking to when I say third party. Okay, so, you know, I confirmed the Page of Swords with this Queen of Wands energy. And so the Queen of Wands in a reading like this can sometimes signify that other party, that other energy that's kind of getting in the way. And very specific, again, this is a very specific message. It kind of feels like there's a situation where there was some third party stuff, and this other friend, maybe this other significant other, somebody's wife or husband, literally messaged you about something, or vice versa. It just kind of feels like someone on someone's other end reached out with words to communicate with someone. That's what this feels like here. Okay, I know that's very specific. I hope you are able to track and follow that, because I don't get that. As a matter of fact, when I was looking at these cards, I'm like, wow, Spirit, like this is a very interesting reading. So I'm really trying to tune in to give you the details of what this is and how it's being interpreted by my mind, right? So I come on over to you. Okay, so the first card that came out for you is, I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. Okay, so there's something about this that feels like you decided to open your heart, try something new, and by doing that, you, Taurus, are just being wise. You're being very wise in your energy by just saying, you know, I'm not going to count it as a total loss. I'm going to recognize more about what this is informing about who I need to be and what I can have. I am becoming a better person. And then it also says, I will wait for a sign from you. And so it could be that Taurus, after all of the weird changes, strange communication, finding out this other piece of information with this person, it could be that you're waiting for this person to clean this up, to rectify this. And maybe for some of you, it's been silent. Like this person does not know how to confront you and clean this up or to make it right. And for some of you, you know, it's been a lot going on, but it doesn't mean that you're done, right? There's some people in this connection where you're like, yeah, it's been a lot, but you know, this is my day one. I'm going for it. Okay. So more cards for you is the Six of Wands, but for you, it popped out in reverse. And so this feels kind of like, you know, not feeling very successful in your endeavor or in your choice. And it possibly relates to a new beginning. Now, this also could have a dynamic where in this connection, what has been challenged here is something related to money or finance. I was seeing that in another reading that I was doing too. I think it was my Aries reading, where there was a relationship dynamic, but money also was like a interplaying force in that was kind of getting in the way and creating some challenge. I'm not sure if it was the Pisces or the Aries one, but it kind of feels like there's a vibe of that here as well. But how you're viewing this right now is kind of like, transformation. This feels like a tower. Like this information that has been coming through, I do feel like somebody might have reached out and communicated something to you, gave you some news or some type of truth. And the way that it's registering, it's like we got to decide, to possibly go ahead and end this. Like I think this might be it for me. So the King of Pentacles also is on your side too, which is very fascinating because the Queen of Pentacles in your connection is in reverse. Okay, so you have this stable energy right here, in your own energy, and then in the connection, it's in reverse, it's upside down. So I confirmed this energy, and I got the Page of Swords again, and then I also got an 8 of Swords. So it just kind of feels like some communication that has come in that has made you feel a little bit kind of like in your mind about it, trapped into something. Now, another kind of interesting, weird twist to this, very specific message again too, is that for some of you, Taurus, you are dealing with someone who kind of had like a low-key scammy kind of intention, maybe related to some type of investment, borrowing some money, needing money for a business, needing money for, their Aunt Betty, or whatever the situation was. And it became clear to you that they weren't exactly who they said that they were, okay, in this connection. I'm going to tell you more about why that is. The first card, beneath your deck is the Knight of Pentacles. Another thing, I didn't go here. Another thing about your side of it is that you really had intentions for this to be long-term. You are looking at this as a long-term stable connection. The Knight of Pentacles for me as a reader in the tarot is you, right? That's that fixed energy. So you are willing to ride this thing out, create something long-lasting, and now that it could be over, or everything is being revealed to its raw elements with that Tower being here, you're just thinking like, okay, so how do I continue on? It's like you're still focused on centering yourself and making yourself healthy despite everything that's happened, which is a beautiful energy. The first card that popped out for the person that you're dealing with, or whoever's on your mind and your heart, is I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm afraid to contact you, as I briefly touched on earlier. In the beneath the deck, I know I messed everything up. So for some of you, it's third party. For some of you, it's third party and this person is a scammer. I mean, let's just be real. If someone is able and willing to lie about a marriage, or not be honest about all of their dealings in other relationships, they likely are capable of stealing and being violent and being harmful. I'm not trying to put everyone in a box, but I'm trying to get down to the lack mentality where all of those things breed from, okay? So, we can't just localize one lack mindset and everything else is not lack, right? It's like kind of like sum total. So this person could be someone who you came to find out with this Tower, or this information that came through, that they were absolutely lying about everything. There were many different lies coming out, or things that were not true. Okay, so the other cards that popped out is, I want to say that this person is this King of Wands energy. And if you remember back, you had the Queen of Wands in the connection, which makes this fascinating. Okay, so another thing that I'm speaking to is I think that there could be two couples that have been going through some weird, interesting stuff. Some background conversations with each other, crossing some boundaries, because if you remember back, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the connections energy, and then the King of Pentacles, or excuse me, the Queen of Wands, and then the King of Wands for the other person. We also had an upside down Queen of Pentacles in the connection, and then the King of Pentacles on your side. So it kind of feels like it could be a couple, two couples. You all may be friends, but there's an interesting dynamic playing out with that too. Another very specific message here. But this person with the King of Wands energy is a very attractive energy. This person is attractive, whether it is aesthetically or just in terms of their ability to, the King of of Wands is able to convince people. Great salesperson. They are charming, and they're really good about using their wit and their charm and their passion to draw people near, draw people into their desire, right? That is what makes them a king of this, is that they know how to do it. The idea is that the King of Wands should be using that superpower for good, right? To help people or whatever other humanitarian focus, right? But in this connection, there's something related to heartbreak and another feminine energy here with the Queen of Cups, suspicious partner. This feels like someone in the background who possibly they're connected to, but there's some heartbreak related to emotions. And I don't know if this is coming from you, Taurus, in this connection, or just some other background stuff. So in this connection, though, with the Two of Cups, I confirmed this energy, and I got out here the Seven of Cups in reverse. And so there is this vibe that with you, they wanted there to be a connection at some level, but it did just kind of feel like there was just a lot going on, like too much energy to really focus anywhere. When it says, I know that I messed everything up right here, this is the energy that I'm picking up. They're in their thoughts and their minds about this. We have you out here, the Hierophant for their side. We have another Queen of Pentacles here for confirming that energy. And so it just feels like maybe this person was connected to something that was, it just feels like an entanglement of some sort. Like there is a deeper connection with someone else. That, and then we have the, you know, the classic third party card out here for their end too, the Three of Cups, and then some grief. Okay, so it just feels like there had been some lying beneath the deck. The Seven of Swords here, some deceit here, some sneakiness here, trying to get away with something here. And then beneath that, we also have the Devil. So that's a very toxic energy, incredibly toxic. Could be that, you know, there's some addiction here, you know, maybe someone making some decisions, bad decisions with money, with friendship, with, you know, third party stuff, being under the influence of something and it kind of robbing them of their judgment. That's kind of a vibe that I'm sensing with this person. And them being heartbroken about their mistakes when they're sober. And sometimes the sober can just be clear of thought, right? If there are no substances, and that's not an issue that is happening in this connection, just when they finally have a moment to come down from whatever high they're on, they're like, what did I do? That there's a level of consciousness here, but it feels like this person knows that they've messed up so bad until they're probably not connecting with you or contacting you. Like it said earlier, they know that they messed everything up. They knew exactly what they were doing. But on your end, you're probably looking for wanting closure from this. Like, was this really you the whole time? Like, were you really this kind of a person? Like, I really put my heart out there, I tried, and this person is just not exactly who they presented to be early on. There's a lot, I'm trying to keep this within like 20 minutes, but there's a lot going on with this person, and it almost feels like it could be dangerous because there's this feeling of recklessness, fast moving recklessness, fun, it's all about me, and then having moments where I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And that's very risky and very dangerous. But hey, free will and divine choice, because in life, love, and business, anything can change, anything can recapitulate. So I trust your judgment in whatever you choose in this time of reconciling or figuring out if you want to move forward with this person or not. I'm going to get some archangel messages out here for you, my lovely Taurus, to wrap up this message. And these archangel cards have little prayers on them, and I love that, because sometimes we're going through some stuff, we're like, okay, I just need a little bit of a prayer. So God, angel, spirit guides, what do you have for Taurus as I close this up? Final messages for Taurus. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Okay. There's something better. It's the first card out here. Be assertive. Oh, it's powerful. Anything else? Okay. We got a lot out here. Taurus, this is a very important reading for you. There's something better. Be assertive. Listen to your intuition and know. Okay, so I tend to mix my cards up. So I have archangel messages in here by a particular reader and author, and I mix another one of their decks together. So there are prayers in here, but I trust Spirit on this. None of those cards popped out. I think Spirit just wants you to know that you thinking about ending this after this tower and all of this stuff has been revealed, this messiness, this person communicating with you, messaging you about this, after all of that has come out, Spirit wants you to know that it's okay to trust your intuition. There is something better. You know, Taurus, you are incredibly valuable. You literally are one of the elemental alchemist, right? You know how to turn base metal into gold. Really, like this truly is you. You know what to do to turn something into something. So this feels like value too. Being assertive with your no. This person might try to connect with you again, and because it doesn't feel like they want to be done. It just feels like they don't know how to, you know, come back from all that has been done. So if they have not tried to communicate with you, they're probably going to. We have these pages out here, and so if you know that your no is no with an exclamation point, you're going to have to be strong and assertive, but I think you can do it, Taurus. That is what I have for you, my love cup. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye.